yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, there, that's better. Grab your pets. Close your windows. Fair warning. R8RBEAR! Woo! Let's go! No, what? Not an inch of this is fake. I'm always excited about my Raiders. And we have stuff to discuss. So I'm excited. I'm excited. With a little X in front of it. Excited. Man, you guys came with it in the conversation round, Jim. Jesus. Woo! Often imitated, never duplicated. Nah, that fool with no hand, that shouts like Ric Flair. Woo! What? Woo! The R8RBEAR! R8RBEARs! Alexa, shut your mouth. R8RBEAR Live first comment. Woo! MVP tonight goes to the reigning, defending, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Jim Vanderland, who clearly took my threat seriously. He said he wasn't going to play on the weekends. I'm like, well, then I'm taking the belt. You don't get to just decide which matches you're in. Give me a break. Second place, my silver medal, the middleweight champion of the world, that 5-moji making son of a gun, Mark Vargas. Like consistency all the time. I want to see the two of you hold the 1 and 2 spot when my YouTube actually takes off. Because right now I've got like 3 people, my dad and a grandpa. Third place, my bronze medal goes to Mount Rushmore himself, David Pelkalima! What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Really glad to have you back. Honorable mention to Ramiro Cashflow Castro. Any bear beer? I'm putting it up because he said it backwards. Is there any bear beer? If we had bear beer, I'd be drinking it. There probably is there's got to be a beer out there called bear beer. There's got to be. I mean, I've never looked, but I mean, you know, anything that wants to be cool puts a bear in it. So, I mean, I said that to Linda when I first met her. What? She married me? What? Facebook! First place, gold medal, numero uno, El Jefe. And I love it when this guy wins anything on R8RBEAR family page. Michael Pierpoy! What's up, brother? Good to see you. Look at you strutting around the gold medal round today. What are you doing up here? Second place, my silver medal goes to my good friend, Bob Stannard! And his lovely wife. Hi, love. Look, man, look. I gave you that one, okay? You owe me one. You know I can't stand you. It's a long story, everyone. My baseball team, his baseball team. My baseball team sucks. his baseball team is like Greek gods, and it just bugs me because my guys suck until they get to his team, and then suddenly they're amazing. Third place, my bronze medal goes to, and you guys know I love it when a Raiderette slides into the sausage fest that is my medal round, because there's always too many dudes. Well, that's right, show some respect. There's a lady on deck. Tony Carpenter Evans! Air Force in the house, okay? Not only is she beautiful, but she could just kick your ass if she needed to, okay? Excuse my French. I get excited when she's here. She's like my bro. So what's up? Oh, there's T-Dip. Honorable mention to T-Dip. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Travis Kelly, Matt Marinovich, Mike Henderson. What's up, guys? Welcome to the show. Ah, there's Corinna. Whoa. Corinna! True. Hello! She always reminds me, please consider a subscription to Raider Bear family page. It's just $5 a month and you can cancel at any time. But you won't want to, because we're doing great things for homeless people and underprivileged people all over the world, and children and cancer and all over the world. So consider a subscription. And if you're on YouTube and you're not hitting that like button, what are we doing? What are we doing? I mean, come on, man. What are we doing here? I mean, do you like me and my show or not? I mean... No, I know sometimes you guys forget to hit the button, but hit the button. Den Rhodes, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Carlos Megana, wow, all my peeps in here tonight. What's up, Tommy and Steeler Val? What's up? Raider Bear, we have got to get up for church in the morning, but since I'm all ready for bed, Mommy said I could stay up and listen as long as I go to bed as soon as you're done. Yes! Way to go, Tommy. Listen, and remember, whenever you ask Mommy for things, give her the puppy dog eyes every once in a while, and just go and just blink a lot. Mommy, but can I please watch the Raider Bear? See, and then give it a couple seconds. Say, can I please watch him? Then a couple seconds. Please. You gotta let the effect of the winking and the puppy dog eyes to kick in. Don't forget that. Even if she heard me teach you that right now, it'll still work. Trust me. I'm a parent. I know. T-Dip. Well, okay, I have some topics I'm going to go on. He kind of touched on one there, and so usually when people touch on stuff, I'm going to correct what I'm saying real quick because it's starting to sound that way again, and no. Football show. First, Richie Incognito is in the news for something other than an arrest. Or a mental breakdown. I'm kidding, sort of. I like Richie Incognito, actually. I mean, first and foremost, if we're just going to talk about football, dude was a stud. I mean, if we're just going to talk about football, he's a stud. And that's the sad thing that gets lost in a lot of the scandals Richie Incognito's been in, and, the stuff he's done. He got into a fight at his parents' funeral. I forget if it was his mom or his dad, but one of them passed away, and he was at the funeral, and he actually knocked over a casket. It didn't have a body in it, but it was in, like, another office. They were trying to calm him down, talk to him. And it wasn't working, and he was getting loud and knocking things over because he was really upset. And I can't remember the whole story about what he was mad about, but yeah, it has nothing to do with that. This is actually pretty interesting. Also, our other topic we're going to talk about, topic number 2, is Davante Adams is talking again. You see, the problem I have is if I told all of you guys to keep a secret for me, if anybody was like Davante Adams, I'm going to use my good friend Bob Standard, because he's watching. If I told Bob, hey, I'm going to ESPN, but don't tell anyone, okay? And then he goes out and finds a whole bunch of people and goes, hey, I know what's going on with the Raider Bear. Yeah, I do. I know what's going on. And it rhymes something like with Bespin. Yeah. Be best, be Ben. I didn't really say it though, Bear. I didn't say anything. That's how Davante Adams is. He can't keep a secret. It's like anything that's said to him or that is like future plans, he tries to say it to us cryptically, and then what happens, he doesn't realize that he's kind of dumb in that way. Yeah, I just mean he's a bad liar. He's bad at acting like he doesn't know what's going on when he should be able to do that by now. He's been in the league long enough. But I have an opinion about what's going on with that too, and we'll talk about that in a moment. And then let me see. Oh, and then there's still some free agents available that are somewhat interesting. Some people we can discuss. I don't know. Okay. As soon as we get within, I'd say, I just want to say this before I forget to tell you because I know I'll forget. As soon as we get to within like 3 weeks, 2 weeks, somewhere in there of the season, that's when free agency will start to really, it'll start to kick off. You might hear a name here and there come out before we get to that period, but that will be if it's someone substantial, like if Dak Prescott was finally traded or something like that, you know. Which I don't think that's going to happen, obviously. Jerry Jones knows he made a poor decision in picking Dak. I don't think he should have stuck with the Tony, what's his face? Yeah, I did. I said, what's his face? The guy's a Hall of Famer. I don't care. F the Cowboys. But Tony Romo, I'm just kidding. Whoops. Sorry, my mic went up for a second. Anyway, him and Tony Romo were going at it, and he was the new flavor. And Tony Romo was begging Jerry Jones to just give him one more season because he felt like the team was actually that close. And some other people thought they were that close too. And then he gave the reins to Dak, and they still had a great season, but it ended. They didn't win a Super Bowl, you know, obviously. And then had you left Tony in there, could he have gotten over the top? You know, there was even word, I mean, I'm not a Dallas fan, so I can't confirm any of this, but there was even word that when Dallas was doing the run with Dak, where I don't know, I forget, he started like 10-0 or 11-0, something like that for a rookie season. It was incredible. And yet Tony still said, when this guy hits the bumps, you know, call me in, and I'll come in like a relief pitcher and get us over the top, and we'll get a ring. And I thought that was ridiculous and like amazingly selfish. I don't care how popular he is with the team. I don't care if he just was a part of it. I don't care if he's a Hall of Famer. You're not on the team anymore. Don't call back and say, can I replace the starter for a few weeks? Could I take out the Ferrari for a few weeks? You divorced my daughter, okay? Get out. You don't get to call back and say, can I play with your toys? Sort of like that. Ah, Jim on both. I see you. Ben Diesel, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Ben, God is my witness, okay? Look at me. God is my witness. I was just watching Batman, the animated series. I know. We were brothers. I'm positive we were brothers now. We were just separated at birth somehow. I don't know. But yeah, I was watching Batman just now. Jesse Parker will tell you, because I just posted a picture, too, about this dope shirt I'm trying to talk him into making for me. Subtle hint. Doc Raider, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always there for Raider Bear. Why are we looking at Heineke as a QB? I heard we might go get him. Bill Cox, it's being talked about because we need more depth. Anthony Brown is not ready. Okay, he's good. He's gotten better, but he's not ready. You know what I mean? And so, now, do I think he could do a serviceable job and still be the quarterback? Of course. When I say not ready, though, I mean by NFL standards. You know, they put him in a box. He's a third string quarterback. You know what I mean? But in reality, he's a running third string quarterback that, you know, is trying to be whatever, you know, mentored into his position. So if you lose AOC or he plays badly, and Gardner Minshew comes in for a couple of games and something goes wrong or he plays badly, where do you go? You can't turn to Anthony Brown, because if you do and he's terrible, you destroy his confidence. And nobody wants to do that to any quarterback. You know what I mean? And so you've got to stop the bleeding in whatever way possible that involves still showing respect to the starter. I'm just going to go into it. I'll just go into it. First, I was going to talk about Richie Incognito and what he said, but we'll just skip that and I'll get back to that. So Devontae Adams was in a new news report, which I'm telling you now, looking right into the camera, I did not read it because I don't read clickbait. But this was the kind of clickbait that was so offensive to me it made me want to come forward and say something. And so here it is. Davante Adams said, wouldn't it be neat if our... Sorry, I'm simultaneously censoring myself and preparing to say what I'm going to say. He wouldn't mind if he were to see our minority owner come back and play a little more football at quarterback for the Raiders. Yeah, our star number one wide receiver just said that the minority owner with the Raiders, whose name will not be said, much like how Prince's name was not said for quite a while, he will be the man no longer spoken of on this show. Because it's going too far now. I mean, we've been too far for quite a while now, okay? Allowing the Chiefs to win a Super Bowl in our stadium, okay? Taking on a part-time owner of the team and the very quarterback who ruled us and took our dynasty from us, which we were going to have a 3 Super Bowl run with Greg Biekert and all the guys, and Jerry Rice and Tim Brown and Rich Gannon. We were going to at least get 2, probably 3. And we had the number 1 offense in all of football in 2001. Okay, so I don't want to hear it. And that team before that, with the Tuck rule, was even better. Yeah. Sorry, I got all that out now. Davante Adams said that. So what is it that we remember about Davante Adams? He has a habit of saying things that if we take a look back, they come true. What was it he said just as he was joining the team and they let go of Derek Carr? Oh, man, I don't want any rookie quarterback. I don't want to play with a rookie quarterback, man. I don't want to do that. Then all of a sudden we go get a rookie quarterback and he's suddenly magically on board. Or does he know it's just a part of the show? For example, are they using this time, whether they win or lose, using this time? We've seen Mark Davis do that. Okay, let's not forget the last 2 years in Oakland. He literally said in a Oakland newspaper, I don't care what we win or lose these last 2 years. I just want to get the hell out of here. Your owner said that. I don't even care if we win or lose these next 2 years. I just want to get the hell out of here. Now, I know it's 2 years, but it's 2 seasons that we're just surrendering, in effect. But anyway, so we're at it again, in my opinion. When I see something in a crime scene, and I smell something, and I see something evidence-wise that points me in a certain direction, my nose gets an itch because I know I'm close. So Davante Adams said, wouldn't it be cool if our minority owner came down from the luxury box and threw the rock for the Raiders? Okay, first, no, Davante. No, that's not cool. Moment of silence for that. But the reason why is because he's washed up. But more importantly, what offense did we just instill? A 2 tight end, an explosive 2 tight end offense. I wonder who that suits. Maybe the guy with the most Super Bowls individually as a quarterback, who ran a 2 tight end offense that was unstoppable for a few years. Yeah. Could that be a clue, guys? Yeah. Changing our running back scheme and allowing Josh Jacobs to leave and then replacing him with nothing but quality running backs who also have a history of having fantastic hands and being able to catch the ball. Should you need to throw a relief valve pass or a quick bubble screen or slant to protect your quarterback? Oh, my nose is itching again. Look, it's itching again. Why? Because I'm onto something. Putting foots in them. I don't know who, but I'm putting them in them. Okay? Because no, just no. What? No. We got to stop this. This has got to stop. Stop this stop. Let him die. Stop it. Why am I nervous? We changed the offense. We changed it to something that he wants. We went into the draft. We went and got a super tight end when there were many other players available, including young quarterbacks. Remember that minority owner? You remember when he got into his last beef with Robert Kraft, his owner? And what was it about? These young quarterbacks that are climbing up his back in Jacoby Brissett and Jimmy Garoppolo. So he got them both moved. That guy. He doesn't like being threatened by young quarterbacks. So you think we're going to go for a young quarterback in the draft? Yeah, we all do, and then we don't. No one explains why. We just decided, we're going to go with the tight end. There was better defensive players all over the board. There was even some offensive players that were better on the board. But you go tight end so you can double down on the tight end action, play action, run the game, crap offense. It's not crap offense. I just mean the word crap just came out of my mouth simultaneously talking about that. Okay, I'll start cussing, so I got to stop. I am not as surprised at all, Val, that he's a master of the puppy dog eyes. I'm not surprised at all. He's a spunky little scamp. I can tell. So we're looking at Heineke to have a third guy, but in reality, it's just another backup. It's just another backup. That's not threatening. It's a warm body in case one of the two in front of it gets hurt. Now, the scenario I see panning out is AOC will start. He won't have a good start to the season. Maybe he goes 2-2 or 1-3. And by week 4, they'll start, saying, hey, what about, Gardner Minshew? I mean, we know the guy can play. He's got the offense down. We've seen it already in practice at OTAs. He was actually audibling and changing to the right play against defensive sets at OTAs. Okay? With a new offense being installed, that's unheard of. Now, I'm not saying no other quarterback could do it, but you got to be pretty damn good to get it that fast. And with all those plays in your mind, switch on the fly to the play you need to beat the defense that's in front of you. That's good stuff, man. Now, I'm not saying Aiden O'Connell's not doing that too. He is. But not to that level. From what the reporters are saying, Gardner Minshew had it down a little bit more. He just has a little bit more acuity to the playbook right now than AOC does. So I'm worried that the scenario is going to look like he gets out to week 4 or 5. He's not playing well. Maybe he's got a lot of interceptions. Maybe we only have 2 wins, something around that area. Then they pull him with respect, and they put in Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew comes out, wins his first game, but then loses 2. And in that third of the total games he's played, the third game, he either gets pulled for that or hurt. And when I say hurt, you know what I mean. All he's got to do is go, oh, my elbow, and just drop to the ground and hold it until they take him off the field. You know what I mean? They don't have to be honest about it. It doesn't even have to be a real injury. All he has to do is just wait till someone throws him to the ground and then just grab his throwing arm elbow and just sit there and go like that. It's too much. He'll go off the field and go in the locker room. We'll let you know when we have x-rays, and they'll say x-rays are negative, and that'll be it. He'll say, I've got tingling. And then a light will shine from on high, and from Mount Olympus will come Timothy, Bartholomew, Rasputin, Brady. That's not actually his middle names, but he has some weird middle names like that. Anyway. and he'll have his Willis Reed moment. Kids, look up Willis Reed. I don't think Tommy has to look that one up. He's pretty sharp. He probably knows Willis Reed. All right, look him up, Tommy. and like Willis Reed, he'll come down the from the up above. I can't talk. And it'll drive us all crazy, and people will cheer, and it'll be stupid, and we'll be embarrassed, and Raider Nation and real fans will cry in our beers, while that man runs our franchise. I mean, I thought it was bad enough that we had to lose. Not lose our opportunity into the playoffs and then watch the Chiefs win a Super Bowl in our stadium. I thought that was enough shame. But no. We are going to let the Tuck rule quarterback, the murderer, okay, of our destiny, to not only buy into our team, but potentially come out of retirement. And you know what the worst part about all this is? There's more. The worst part is He'll come out of retirement and play like garbage. It'll be like finally all those other teams and all the other stuff he did. Oh, I'm legend. So here's Super Bowl rings. Oh, no one can stop me. I'm a Raider now. Oh, I'm washed up. I suddenly can't avoid the rush or find the open man. Put foots in that, okay? Even if they did that, even if the Raiders did that, still a Raider till I die. But will I get a tattoo that says Tom Brady is the Antichrist on my butt cheek? Probably. Probably. All right, maybe somewhere else, but that's not the point. I will get that tattoo. I hate Tom Brady to infinity and beyond. Wasn't that the guy from Toy Story? The little space alien? Anyway. Richie Incognito is in the news talking about a player and not about his own, hijinks, which is new because I'm only used to hearing about how much trouble he's in. But Richie Incognito took the time to talk to the press about a player on the team that he's really, really impressed with. And it happens to be one of our rookies. So it gets ever more interesting. And he voiced his support for Jackson Powers Davis. Now, that's the lineman we got from the Oregon Ducks in the second round. And to say honestly that almost all scouts are saying that he's a surefire starter, that there's no doubt about it, that he was like one of those guys that was born to play that position, and he was just lucky and he happened into it. A lot of us love sports, but sometimes we're not in the sport we should be in. Had we been in that other sport, maybe things might have turned out differently for us. He's one of those guys that's what happened. He liked to wrestle, and he was on the wrestling team from what I understand. I don't know if it was at Oregon. It may have been earlier in his career. But I know he was doing some wrestling, and then that obviously translates to offensive or defensive linemen immediately, inside hand fighting and low stance. That's the definition of offensive line and defensive line technique and what they do. It just relates right to wrestling. So he goes into football, he ends up being fantastic, and he has that mentality. And that was what Richie Incognito was noticing, is that he likes the guy. We've got a lot of good linemen on the team, but he thinks that guy's crazy like he was. And he didn't say that, but I know that's what he meant. You can just tell. Richie was so excited to let everybody know, hey, man, that guy, I'm telling you, man, that guy can do it, man. I'm telling you. He pancakes boys and puts on the syrup. Little butter, would you like to see some powdered sugar on that? Whoa! And then the powdered sugar walks in right on time. No, not my mutt. You. My other mutt. What's up, you two? Bear, I have to tell you that Tommy is the absolute master of the puppy eyes. I was telling him to work that one on his mama when he needs something. Fun fact, John Matuzak was the first overall pick in the 73 NFL draft, but after a troubled 9-year career, the 6'8", 285-pound defensive lineman achieved perhaps his greatest fame for his role in the 1985 movie The Goonies as Sloth, a hideous-looking but gentle-souled creature who was chained up in a basement. Rocky Road. Little nostalgia there from our guy, Travis Kelly. Appreciate you, brother. Bear, greetings from Mexicali, Baja. What's up, man? Welcome to the show. Great profile picture, too. Nice looking family. Adams is the best kind of a husband. Kind of a husband to have. Hey, man, Tony, you'd have a shot. If you go to practice and he sees you, go get him, girl. I can keep a secret. You tell me a secret, I can take that to the grave. I know you can, Corinna Trujillo, because if you didn't keep that secret, Mama Bear wouldn't be smiling at me back there. What's that? Oh, she knows where the bones are hidden, okay? I told Corinna. I just figured, why not? I need a witness to my greatness. Matt Marinovich, Dak Eeks. Matt Marinovich, not only did I say the same. Dak is the Black Derek. I mean, they were even wearing the same number, for crying out loud. I would have changed the number just for that. You look like sexy Morticia. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Tony Slama is definitely not a Hall of Famer. Yeah, I would agree. Oh, that was Mama Bear saying bye, everyone. Corinna watching the bear on both. Appreciate you, love. He who shall not be named. That's all he gets. What's up, Bear? Time still watch the next day's Raiders. What's up, Johnny Portnoy? Always there for a Raider Bear. I heard that comments from Devontae. I was shocked and appalled. You know, I can't talk now. Corinna, I not only do I agree with you, I just don't understand what the point was. And so, in other words, if there's no chance it could happen, why would he say it? You see what I'm saying? If Rich Gannon walks in the room, he's not going to say, hey, you know, Rich is thinking about suiting up. Because we would laugh and we would think it was ridiculous. But when you say it about someone like that cheating, backstabbing, lying son of a... Yeah, so I'm going to stop now. I'm going to stop that. Dale Thacker, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Yeah, it's been too long, man. Good to see you. The Receiver show on Netflix with Devontae was cool. You know, Johnny, I think that's cool that they give you that angle with the players and, you know, and how they're doing. But I don't like it. I don't like it. It has nothing to do with the story or any of that other stuff. It's a distraction. And what used to be a distraction to coaches is now being accepted by all coaches because they know there's nothing they can do about it. And they're being conditioned to accept that this is no big deal. And I disagree with that completely. It is a distraction. You're focusing on being perceived a certain way in a video. Okay, so you're not being necessarily yourself. Then we know how social media attacks these things. So if someone goes on there and does something fake like Russell Wilson did, doing exercises on a plane that was in flight. I'm serious. There was press on the flight, and Russell Wilson is running up and down the aisles, getting in his cardio at 10,000 feet. I don't know. I just report the news. Okay, no matter how weird it may be, I just report the news. And that is weird as F. But there he was doing it, you know. I don't know. But anyway, you just don't want your stuff out there in the street like that. They even hinted on the minority owner's roast on Netflix about him coming and leading the Raiders to the playoffs. Ben, they did, and I'll be honest with you, I just took that as a joke. You know what I mean? I did. I didn't take that seriously, not for a second. It wasn't until I noticed the offense changing. Okay, and then what else? What do we know about Josh McDaniels? Tom does not like that guy. It's not a secret. If you look it up, it's not a secret. People assume they got along because he was his offensive coordinator. They didn't. Tom very often told the guy he was a flippin' idiot. A lot. And there weren't apologies. They didn't get along. He left the team with them having beef. So who better to fire him? You know what I mean? And he starts off lousy. And by the way, he was never given the vote of confidence by Tom. He was silent in the press about Josh McDaniels, both before he was hired, when he was hired, and after, when the nation was going crazy, because we were already going crazy, but we were going crazier. We were going crazier because, you know, now he was not on top of everything else. He was terrible. He's just losing left and right. You know what I mean? Has the minority ownership of he who shall not be named been approved yet? If it has been, I would be surprised if there aren't some sort of bylaws that would prevent a minority owner from playing. Doc Raider, that's correct, and it's also why the business isn't done. And it's why they're not talking about it. So Doc Raider, I give you a lot of credit as one of my viewers, a Raider fan, for seeing that. That is another piece of evidence in this case. I know I'm saying this, but I'm not joking. That looks like dominoes, and each time you get to the next domino and you think to yourself, well, he has to do this in order for it to work. And then suddenly his minority ownership stake is canceled and put into moratorium, which you never hear that. But okay, so they're gonna hold on to his ownership until a later date when some other stuffs can be investigated and approved, which is what we were told. And to be honest with you, I honestly believed that at first because it made sense if you think about it. Tom himself has a lot of other properties. He owns other businesses and so on. So you have to do a thorough audit of all of that so that the NFL people can say, okay, that guy has the money to be a part owner. So when they do that thorough audit of that guy, they know what kind of money he has. Okay, so then they can say this guy's portfolio adds 2.2 billion or 2.5 billion or whatever it's going to add to the Raiders' total value. And they can't say what the Raiders' total value is until they know how much he's adding to it. Get me? So when they said there'd be a pause in that, I just figured that was a part of the investigation into what he owns, how many things he owns. Are there things that he owes that don't factor into it? Or do we take those things into account? You know, the banks have to then debate that. That takes weeks. So the fact that it hadn't been done yet and it seemed to be dragging, I felt like money-wise, it made sense. I've taken out loans. I've gone to banks and asked for, things like that. And it takes time. They've got to look at you. They've got to know what you're about. They look at your business, how long have you worked there, et cetera, et cetera. In the fact that he's Tom and he's famous, they don't care about that. They've got to know that he's not in trouble. And remember, he's in the middle of a divorce. Now, if I'm wrong about all this, conspiracy that I'm thinking of, it still would make sense because remember, once he divorced his wife, then that affects his income drastically. It affects his total worth drastically. And let's remember, she was the higher breadwinner than him. Everyone's always surprised when I say that because he's an NFL quarterback and he's won all these Super Bowls. I'm telling you, she's been making more money than him for a long, long time. I think like since they met. Because remember, she was a supermodel. She had a $60 million deal. Okay? And then I don't know what she got her next contract for, but it had to have been that or more. She's not taking less. You know what I mean? I know that, especially when she's still, And then when I say hot, I do not mean attractive. I don't think she's attractive at all. But what I mean by hot is she's still hot in public and with Revlon and whatever. And I don't even know if it's Revlon, but whatever she's endorsing, clothes and makeup and whatever. You know what I mean? So that may be, in fact, what's holding things up, Ramiro, is that we don't know his total worth, or is it being held up because he could have his Willis Reed moment mid-year? I don't know. Dale Thacker said Minshew should start. I'll be honest with you, Dale. AOC is playing better. He just is. He's playing better in camp. Gardner Minshew's acuity and understanding of the playbook, to me, he's gathering that faster. But as far as dynamic plays in practice and at OTAs, Aiden O'Connell's been better. A little bit bigger arm, a little bit bigger body, not muscle-wise. Gardner Minshew is physically heavier than Gardner Minshew, but he's not as tall. So Gardner Minshew's weight is, but AOC's weight is spread out more. He's more of a thick guy, Pillsbury Doughboy. Body by Pillsbury Doughboy. Larry Brooks Jr., what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Carolina True! Hello! Apparently, Corinna Trujillo is the only person that feels like I am providing knowledge, information, and entertainment worthy of stars. Is that true? Oh, wait, I got to do the puppy dogs now. Wait. Is that true? I was going to do it. Anthony J. Zirkle said Jackson Powers Johnson, was I said Davis, was a first-round pick that just slipped down the board because teams reached desperately in the draft. He was born to be a Raider. Well, Anthony Zirkle, that's a great profile picture. And by the way, he was, targeted potentially. He had the potential of a first-round pick, but it was injury history that made him slide to a second pick. Now, that benefits us because there were those that argued that he was the most gifted offensive lineman in this draft. The only reason he fell out of the first round, like you were saying, but it was his injury history because it is for real. He's had leg issues in both legs, feet, stuff like that. So I'm not too happy about it. It's like if I bought you a race car and I told you, well, the engine's blown out twice, but we rebuilt it and the trunk, keeps flying open. But we fixed that for now, and that's how it kind of feels. But we'll see. We'll see. I made my most sound argument for Jackson Powers Johnson. Thank you for the correction. I apologize. I made the argument that he was in college still. So he was still dealing with both college level strength and conditioning coaches, equipment, and because he wasn't a pro yet, he didn't have 24-hour, ice and stem therapist and, getting juice going into his muscles and helping him. He didn't have that therapist. He didn't have a cryo. Everyone knows what I'm trying to say, and I'm the one that can't say it. But one of those sleeping bags, the cryo chambers, that when you sleep in them, it makes more red blood vessels flow through your body and more white blood vessels through your body, and it helps your immune system. And thus, it helps when you have nicks and cuts and bones and breaks and your body's sore. It helps fix that faster. And so I'm sure he has one of those. Okay, whoever's writing down what the bed's called, you're evil for that. Don't. Yeah, I know someone has probably already posted the cryogenic bed. Why am I forgetting how to say it? But it's one of those. I already said it. You don't win, even if you put it in the comment and it's correct and it sounds better than mine. I still win. Oh, Mama Bear! Everyone's saying hello. She said, "Love you." Johnny Portnoy said, Mama Bear, have you seen the size of Zeus in the gym? She has not, thankfully, for my own ego. But no, we have discussed it, though, because I showed her one picture. He looks so buff. I mean, he got buff. It looks like he gained at least 10, 15 pounds of just sheer muscle, no fat whatsoever. He looks like incredible. I hope the extra weight doesn't, hamper him. You know what I mean? Because the guy's had leg issues. And then more importantly, if we're going to really ask him to be the bell cow back this year, and I think we are, and I don't love that. You know what I mean? He doesn't have perfect hands out of the backfield, but he has pretty good hands. I would throw him a pass or two here and there. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think Zamir White is literally going to crash in there. And he's going to get yards, some nights, and some nights he won't. But either way, they'll play action out of that and go to the tight ends, play action out of that and throw to the, kid in the flat, the slant, or the fullback going into the the valve position and just release that pressure with the valve position. But I'm surprised. I'm surprised by it. Because if you lose Zeus, you're down to Alexander Madison and Amir Abdullah. And I love Amir Abdullah. I love Amir Abdullah. I feel like if you really gave Amir Abdullah a chance to be the guy on more downs, not all downs. He's not a bell cow, not big enough. But if you mix and matched him with Zeus, it's lights out. I don't know enough about Alexander Madison to say. You know what I mean? I saw when we drafted him. I reported it. He looks like a killer athlete. I saw his body, and dude is just ripped. I mean, zero body fat. He looks like he's super, super committed to his craft. But and I watched some stuff from when he was with Minnesota. He seems explosive. There's no fear. He goes through the middle. But he's a little on the wiry side, a little bit like myself, a little bit on the thinner side. Muscular is all hell, like myself. The Raider Bear! Raider! I'm sorry, I'm just, But anyway. Bear, did the Warriors get Markham from Utah? He would be a great addition. All right, we'll talk about that because I'm toward the end here anyway. They have not got Lauri Markkanen yet, but it's being talked about in the news far too much for it to not happen. In other words, the press out there is talking about it like every single night. There's a new conversation about what's going to happen with Lauri Markkanen. And I can tell you this much. The Warriors are offering everything short of Steph Curry. They're just trying to find the right combination of what they're willing to give up and what Utah is willing to accept. Will they take Kuminga and Mooney and 5 picks? Or does it have to be Kaminga and Pajemski, our little guard star from last year, which, honestly, I'm looking right in the camera. I don't care. I like Pajemski, but Pajemski is the future. We're not playing for the future. We're playing for right now. So if I gave up Pajemski and picks and Mooney and got Lauri Markkanen, I'm in. But from what I understand, it's just that Utah wants more, because I know that offer's on the table. It was Kaminga, Moody, 5 picks. 5 picks. And what else was it? It's one of those pick swaps. I don't know how those work necessarily. Like if the other team gets a certain amount of wins, you get the pick. But if they don't, they get it back. It's swapped. But yeah, and something like that. And Utah rejected it. That's what I heard was the last thing on that. Bill Cox, he's going to the Clippers for Westbrook. I don't understand the Westbrook thing, especially, I don't know, I'm sure some of you saw this. There's this propaganda thing going on right now where they're trying to say that Russell Westbrook's a great guy. He's so nice. Oh, he's a funny, just great, self-deprecating, free with his money, blah, blah, blah kind of guy. I did hear that at a restaurant, a girl that really did well at his table, where he was ordering a lot of food and he had his family there and everything. And I heard this waitress just killed it. She was working for a good tip because she knew it was a famous rich guy. But, she was thinking, $100, $200, maybe something like that. So the bill comes back. Russell Westbrook looks at it, goes, whoosh, writes the bill out. And then he goes into his wallet and starts pulling out $100 bills and gives her $6,000 cash. How about that? And honestly, the last thing I read about it was that he literally said, I would have given you more, but that's all the cash I have on me. Wait, what? I need to be a waiter. Where is this place? But in all seriousness, though, he's a jerk. He just is, guys. He's a jerk. Every other thing that's said about him or documented proves that he's an a-hole. I'm sorry, I'm not falling for the propaganda. That Frank would like to put foots in him, okay? Tommy. No, not you, Tommy. The other evil Tom. I literally had to run to the bathroom. I thought I was going to get sick after Devontae's comment. Yeah, I did. I made it to the bathroom. Patty Mahomes was an executive producer for Receiver. The Christmas Day was not shown. It was already great knowing that we pissed in their Wheaties on Christmas morning. Pissed is not a bad word. It's just disgusting. So we pissed in their Wheaties, okay, and they didn't like it. And now they're editing it from shows, which just tells you they're still butthurt about it. They won Super Bowls, and they're still mad about that game and this team. R8RBEAR! Tom has to come clean about the fumble before an ownership is approved. The worst part about that, Dale, is that he admitted. I forget exactly what forum it was, but he got interviewed somewhere or something, and he said it was a fumble, that he messed up, and that it shouldn't have been called the tuck rule. He's already said it at least once. I remember when Charles Woodson tried to get him to say it in an interview he had with him, but that was when he was still playing, so he didn't have the balls to say it then. He probably doesn't have the balls now, and that might be why he's single. Oh! Ha! Spit on that thing. Foots in him. Nah, I don't want him to come clean. He's trying to combine his ownership with Richard Seymour's. That's the story they're fronting. I've heard about Seymour being a potential owner too. So yeah. Dale said AOC can't leave the pocket. Dale, I don't agree with that. He can roll out and whatnot. It's not something he does with pressure, though. There's a difference. If he does a play action rollout, he can get out there. He's not that slow. He's not that slow. You're looking at his body and seeing the speed of him in your mind. Don't do that. I know that's hard to do, but no, he's like. Do you remember the wrestler Bam Bam Bigelow? He's kind of like that. You know what I mean? He's so comfortable in his weight that he's nimble, like someone that's much lighter than him might be. Where did this come from? But he's nimble at his weight and moves well. And so I'm not really concerned about that because I don't want him in that kind of offense anyway. I want him in an offense where he sits down in the pocket and throws the ball. And if he doesn't have anything, throw it away. I would rather see him do that more often than not. For example, do any of us think Aaron Rodgers is a rollout quarterback? No, not especially now with having the worst leg injury he's had, probably in his career. And now he's going to come back and start running around? Of course not. And he's a veteran. But do you see anyone saying, oh, well, he's not good enough? They think they're going to win a Super Bowl with that clown. You know what I mean? So if that guy can stay in the pocket and their fans don't mind it, we should be able to do the same. We should be able to not mind that our guy might leave the pocket here or there. Whoa. Man, I might. Hello! You see, I'm trying to break a blood vessel for you right now, girl. I actually got my list back of all the stuff that we've been giving to for charities, because what happens is when we give to St. Jude's and we give to CNBC and the Kind Fund, what happens is if we end up giving them extra money, which happened year before last, they take that extra money and they start spreading it around to other needy things like autism, lymphoma, other sorts of cancer. And we did a lot of good. We did so much good. And I'm talking about Raider Nation, viewers of my show, just buying things that I was raffling. And I know I haven't been doing it like I used to quite as much because I just wanted to get back to doing my show for everyone and really enjoying that. You know what I mean? Because I love you guys and I love doing my show. And I love giving you the news. I love giving you insight on other things. I don't think anyone this soon is calling for Tom Brady to be on the field. I don't think anyone was. In other words, I feel like I'm the first guy to kind of get that story out. I know Devontae Adams is talking about it now. But I hope that ends up being wrong. But he wasn't wrong when he made his, talk about a rookie quarterback, and then he wasn't really happy, and then I don't know. I don't know. Anthony J. Zirkle, we can't have the legends back. They're all too old now. I love you, girl. Appreciate you, Corinna. Tom Brady and that Jake Paul are lovers. Where did that come from? Ramiro Cashflow Castro. Is it Alexander Madison? That's what I said. Ramiro. At least I thought I did. My bad if I said the wrong word. Yeah, I say it wrong enough times that I probably should trust you that I said the wrong name. USA men's basketball needs to step it up. 1-point win today. Unacceptable. Yeah, they're thinking about adding Bronny James. I know, I'm embarrassed I said it. I don't know if you've seen the memes, but that's actually going around. That LeBron is calling for his son to come on down from Summer League. Just, stop it. KC fans keep talking trash about how that game didn't matter. Look, what else can they do? Tana, they have to do that. See, we're real men. As you notice, I said that it burned us, that we were all pissed off about them winning in our stadium. That is the truth, okay? Whether it's a burn that they got on us or not, it's the truth, okay? When we beat them a few years ago in Kansas City, and we did victory laps beeping our horns on the bus. True story. And some of the players were showing the moon out the window for the Kansas City Chiefs. And honestly, it was just, pranking around, having a good time. This is taking it too far, though. You're taking it too far. The Chiefs, I mean, if they're saying that, oh, well, whatever, that game didn't matter. No, you know it mattered. You all went home pissed for Christmas. Tommy Boy has the balls. They are just deflated. There you go. More ball jokes. I need more ball jokes. Go. My younger brother is a diehard Kansas City fan. When we beat them on Christmas Day, I called my brother and I told him, yes, we beat the Chiefs. I just wanted to add that part. Yes, Corinna, there is a Santa Claus. And then I hung up on him. Well done. Oh, well done, Corinna. I'm going to do that to Niner Beto. As soon as his team is eliminated from the playoffs, boop, beep, beep, boop, boop. Yeah, hey. Your team is dust. This is Raider Bear out. Raider Devillion, will the Raiders keep Kuntz if Tyree Wilson makes a big jump this year? That's a fantastic question. Say to you that Kuntz would be dust if Tyree Wilson has a good year. But then again, they might bring in Yannick Ngakoue from free agency. He's still available. And the only reason he's available is because the free agent market hasn't really started yet. If you notice, it's gone dry because what they're all doing is they're waiting for different cap space reasons and things like that for everything to get in space. And then once they get within that week and a half of the preseason and camp to go into the preseason, you'll start to see moves being made. Now, the real reason why the delay is, I'll just tell you, the real reason for this delay is because a lot of veteran players, they don't want to get signed this soon because they don't want to end up in all these mandatory practices. So a guy like Richie Incognito, when he played, if he were playing right now, he'd say, yeah, I want to be a Raider, but I'm not signing for at least another 35 days. Because I think we're exactly 49 days away from NFL football. So he would want to get a little closer because there's nothing he's going to learn in camp or in the preseason. You know what I mean? He just has to show up in shape. And if he does that, let's roll. All right. Alexa, resume. Plus, Tyree Wilson, bruh. He's coming off a foot surgery joining us in his rookie year. I don't trust that. So if we're going to re-sign someone, we probably re-sign Kuntz and then find out with the guy who we already have under contract in Tyree Wilson if he can pan out. I don't know. Shout out to our armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard, Space Force. For all you do, the energy and love of this show is dedicated to your sacrifice. Active and veteran, much love. Raiders! I love you guys. I'll see you Monday. Raider Bear family page. Peace!